Hello everyone and welcome back to a new week in patch 9.1 of the Shadowlands, where, Thenios is here. Alright, so, I've already done the things, the weekly things to increase our renown to get the next portion of the chapter. I am also going to be testing something. Now, before I lose it, I just want to say that when I came back here, because I left and went back to my Covenant, I also went back to Acaris, and I'll be talking about why in just a moment. I got back here, and Thenios said, "The Mournblade tore a fragment from Uther's soul. Without it, I fear he may never heal." And then Bolvar said, "I have seen a vision of where such vessels are kept, but retrieving it will prove perilous. The jailer keeps his treasures well guarded." So, I wonder if we're actually going to be trying to find a way to help heal Uther's soul. Because this is now obviously the week we deal with what's going on with the Kyrian. First week was the Necrolords with the Primus. Then it was the Revendreth with finding out about the Dreadlords and them taking Remornia to free Denathrius. Then last week we dealt with what was going on with the Night Fae and helped out Tyrande and found out about Elune and such. So now this week we're doing the Kyrians. Now I expect a follow-up to what happened to the Archon, because remember, she got stabbed in the chest by Anduin. And I don't expect that to be an overnight just, oh, I'm all better, I'm fine. She got stabbed in the chest by a Mournblade. I'm just saying. She better, still be recovering or something when we head over there. Otherwise, I'm going to kind of call a little bit of BS. By the way, yes, that is available because this past weekend, my guild and I, we cleared all of Sanctum. Yay! 10 out of 10 on normal. We possibly going to be starting to work on Heroic this week. We're still waiting to see. We may just re-clear normal again. I'm not sure. I'll wait to hear from him. So I could turn this in right now. And if I do, you remember how I said that they actually only had a 77 gold reward here? They changed this. It's now a whole bunch of anima. Look at that. That is 3,000 anima that you get for completing this quest. So, yeah, we defeated Sylvanas. I was going to save this for later, but heck, I may as well just go ahead and do it now. Even though I obviously plan on showing you what happens in the raid when we do this in LFR, when they eventually release it in LFR. But the quest, of course, was to beat Sylvanas. The jailer has seized the sigils of all four covenants. It is clear he means to escape the maw and steal the Arbiter's sigil from Oribos. We cannot allow this to happen. Atop Torghast sits the sanctum of domination, the jailer's seat of power. The time has come to enter this dark domain. No doubt Sylvanas Windrunner will command the forces that will attempt to thwart us. We must defeat her and save Anduin Wrynn from her grasp. Gather your forces. The Ebon Blade will stand with you. So we go through the raid. Spoilers, we fail. We can win the raid battle, but we don't actually defeat Sylvanas, and the jailer gets the last thing from the Arbiter. I will obviously show this on camera when I do the LFR version of the fight, and show you the cinematic that plays. And I will rant about it when we get there and show it on camera. Don't worry, I'm planning on ranting about that because, but I'm going to save that. But she turns babyface. For those of my fellow pro wrestling fans who know what that terminology means, she turns babyface and defies the jailer's plan that he reveals, "All will serve me," which sounds familiar. And she fires an arrow at him, and he decides to repay her because rather than kill her, he's like, "Well, you did help me take something that was help me get back something that was stolen from me, so I will repay you in kind." And he gives her soul back and leaves her, as he says, to our mercy. And then he has Anduin leave. Anduin leaves his compass behind to show how fully in control he is. And now Sylvanas is our captive. again, I will show this on camera later when we actually get to do the LFR version of the raid fight. So, I am even making sure that I plan on removing my mods, or my mods. My add-ons, like DBM and Bigwigs, just so I can make sure it doesn't skip the cutscene. So, because, well, let's just say I hate it when that's been happening. You guys already saw that happen with the Garrosh fight. So, again, I will show that on camera. But, yeah, that's what happens. So, that's why when we go to turn this in, he then says,
"Stand together against the darkness."
The jailer has what he wanted, all along with Anduin at his side. Our only victory, if you can call it that, is that we have Sylvanas in custody. I pray she possesses knowledge that can give us an edge to stop whatever the jailer is planning next.
So, can I play Bad Cop when we interrogate her? Because I would love to play Bad Cop against Sylvanas. I'm just saying, I kind of want to take out some anger and frustration on her. Just saying. I wanted to do the same thing with Garrosh. I'll gladly do the same thing with Sylvanas. I'm just saying, both of them. Just let me have a go at her.
I fear darker days are to come.
Okay, so I just got a whole bunch of animo. I was concerned whether or not he was going to say anything extra, but I guess not. Alright, so Thenios. What's going on with Uther and the Archon?
Do you seek wisdom?
Bolvar Fordragon has seen visions of a vault hidden deep within Torghast, where the jailer keeps souls that he deems valuable. Uther was struck down by a Mournblade. When such a weapon is wielded with rage, it can shatter a soul into fragments. If the jailer holds a part of Uther's soul, it cannot be fully mended until the lost piece is restored. Take this attuned shard to Torghast. It should guide you to the vault's location. Find the lost fragment of Uther's soul so that he can be made whole.
Continue your journey.
Interesting. To Torghast. Alright, so actually, hold on. Let me talk for a moment here, because I should let you guys know this is kind of a test run for me. So, obviously I've been playing Unholy a lot. So, we cleared the raid, like I said. I don't know what it is, but there are times where Unholy just doesn't feel quite as fun to me as I want it to. I don't know. It feels like I want to have a bit of change of pace. The thing is, I've let it be known, I like Frost. I enjoy Frost. I wanted Frost to be good, but the thing was, Unholy was just so good. So, I'm doing a bit of a test run here. So, I've switched to Frost. And I've kind of, in fact, hold on a second, because I actually was looking up the builds. I forgot to change a couple pieces here, so I need to go ahead and grab Blinding Sleet right here. Go ahead and do that. And yeah, Permafrost is nice, but it's not really that strong. And Wraithwalk, yeah, it's really nice. So yeah, other than those two, this is the build that I am going with, which is an Inexorable Assault, which stacks and adds frost damage to Obliterate, as you can see here, which right now does over 2,000 physical damage. Murderous Efficiency, which consumes Killing Machine effect and has a chance to grant you another rune. Avalanche, which is casting Howling Blast with Rime active, causes icicles to fall. Gathering Storm, each rune spent during Remorseless Winter increases its damage and extends the duration. Obliteration, while Pillar of Frost is active, Frost Strike and Howling Blast will always grant Killing Machine and have a chance to generate a rune. So then there's a couple more pieces here, so just to kind of reiterate. So Howling Blast, of course, puts the dot Frost Fever on. Obliterate, I mentioned, costs 2 runes and does a brutal attack that does 2,000 physical damage. Pillar of Frost increases strength by 20% for 12 seconds. Each rune that is spent while active increases strength by an additional 1%. And then there are a couple of other things as well. So, let me go ahead and pull this up. So, So just to remind everyone, Killing Machine is a passive where the auto-attack critical strikes have a chance to make my next Obliterate deal frost damage and critically strike. Frozen Heart is the mastery for Frost spec. Increase the damage of your Frost abilities by 47%. Might of the Frozen Waste. This was something they added in this expansion because when they allowed Frost to use two-handed, they decided to give buffs to either dual-wielding or two-handed. So, while dual-wielding, your Obliterate and Frost Strike will also strike with your offhand, and each weapon can be engraved with a Runeforge enchant. While you're using a two-handed weapon, you increase Obliterate's damage by 30% and increase the chance of your auto-attack critical strikes to grant Killing Machine. So you can kind of see how those go hand in hand. By the way, also remember, Rhyme is Obliterate has a 45% chance to cause your next Howling Blast to consume no runes and deal 300% extra damage. Then there is the single target legendary for Frost. Now I know this is only rank 2. I'm planning on upgrading this. I just need to do a few more runs of Torghast and get like 3,000 more Soul Ash to upgrade it to rank 3, which is the 235 piece. The legendary power is that Obliterate deals an extra 10% damage and has a 12% chance to refund 2 runes. So that means that it's now doing, combined with this and having a two-handed weapon, it then has Might of, it then does 40% extra damage, and you can kind of see how it's kind of like having Killing Machine and Obliterate just kind of go hand in hand. And also, then there's Rune of Razor Ice, which I have enchanted on there, which is that it causes 30% extra weapon damage as frost damage and increases enemies' vulnerability to your frost attacks by 3% and having it stack up to 5 times. So I hope you can kind of see like how this is all kind of like working together in that regard. So I've mainly, of course, been playing Unholy, and I said I was going to basically keep playing Unholy until they deemed it unplayable, because I was expecting that they were going to just, nerf it into the ground because of how well it was doing, and people were saying, well, Frost is not that great. The thing is, I think in this patch or recently or such, Frost has been getting better, and Unholy has also, it's kind of been reeled back into place where it's not as strong as it was before. It's still strong, it's still fine, but Frost is kind of now neck and neck. What people are saying now is that basically Unholy and Frost are kind of on par, where you can use either one and you're going to do fine. And in fact, there are certain fights, including in Sanctum, where it's recommended to go with one spec or the other. Like, if you're going to do the 9, it's actually recommended to go ahead and play as Frost instead of Unholy, because it can be able to take advantage of the AoE that's needed there. The thing is that's great about the 2 specs, that they can both do AoE really well. Which is why you can also see here that I mentioned that I have the pieces ready to go. This is the 235 piece I have ready to upgrade Cult Hero's Favor. Do you guys remember this legendary I made earlier in the playthrough? The Remorseless Winter one? Yeah, that's the AoE one, which I have the 235 to upgrade that as well. I'm just going to need some more Soul Ash from Torghast if I'm going to be able to just kind of keep on upgrading those, right? So we're going to go ahead and do a test run, because I actually asked our raid leader about this, and he was cool with me switching to Frost, as long as I have like the legendaries and such ready to go, which I do, but I'm going to want to go ahead and try to upgrade them, because I will say that at the moment I now am up to 225 with the current things I have equipped, though if I switch pieces, I'll be able to get back up to either 226 or even 227. I just switching to this kind of brought it down, but hey, 225 is nothing to slouch at least I don't think it is. So let's go ahead and do this, so we can try and see what we can do about Uther's Soul Shard. Gosh, I haven't done a Torghast run as Frost in a long time. I never use Sacrificial Pact, so I'll go with the Death Coil one. Switched up my Mog, and boy, the fact that The legendary ones are like the mythic versions of the Sanctum set. And I can even show you. That's the legendary. Just to remind, the shoulder here is the legendary I'm wearing, the Cultier's Favor one. Let me just go ahead and show this here. You see that? Identical, right? If I was to put on the helmet piece here, it would be the exact same helmet right there. So the legendary pieces are the mythic Sanctum pieces. So if you're wanting to just kind of like, oh, I want to look like this all the time, well, we're going to have to do some farming of mythic Sanctum at some point to do some transmog runs. I mean, we're doing that for other raids like Legion, right? So I expect that to happen at some point. Heck, we may even... There are even people that do that for BFA, even though I don't think the BFA ones looked that great, but regardless. Oh, it doesn't have my upgrade. You know, the one where I am able to just straight up, you know... have everything be automatically looted. That's a shame. Who are you?
None can best me!
You're not one of these sore losers. I came here looking to improve myself, so naturally I come to where the foes should be the strongest and challenge them to single combat. After my first fight, they instead simply monkey pile on me and take all my gear and provisions and leave me in chains. How am I expected to improve while locked in these chains? I can't even do a decent crunch. These people just do not understand what it means to be a warrior. I will help.
Fight to win!
By the way, like, this has always been one of my favorite sword appearances for a Death Knight because it's a really cool looking rune blade, and I just love that. Now, don't get me wrong, there have been others as well, but let me show you one in particular I have my eyes on. Now, when it comes to, if, like, you're like, well, what are you going to do when it comes to one-handers? There are a number of one-handers I want to get. This is one. It's not bad looking. It's pretty cool. Gaze Piercer. Nice, nice. So that's one I could get when it comes to one-handed swords and weapons. Here's another one, this one-handed mace. Not bad, not bad. So those are a couple of bosses I could be able to farm. Sylvanas isn't dropping anything. However, this trinket right here is considered really good for Frost DKs, I believe. So this is something I would hope to get at some point. I have this ring. That was actually something I did get when we beat Sylvanas. You can see I'm actually using that ring right now. A lot of critical strike and versatility, which, considering how important critical strike is for Frost, that's pretty nice. But let me show you this sword. Now, I would love to get this sword right here, this two-handed sword. It looks really cool, and it has this really cool ability. Consume a lesser weapon, destroying it utterly to feed the power of Jathus. I really want to test this out. That seems really cool. And then there's this other one-handed sword he drops here, called the Devouring Cold. Adjust your weapon. Look at this. Look at that! Look at that! Oh! That is so cool. You know what that reminds me of? Hold on a second. I'm going to go ahead and... are there any South Park fans watching? Because there's a particular sword from Noxramas that... here it is. Here it is. Slayer of the Lifeless. Who recognizes this sword, right? Looks very familiar, doesn't it? It looks almost identical. It looks like a more modern version of this sword right here. Now, of course, you guys probably recognize the sword from that episode from South Park that focused on World of Warcraft. You know, that one that came out years ago? Yep. It looks like it's a more modern version. Oh. This is something I've been wanting them to do with older, like, weapons and mounts. Go ahead and give them a modern touch-up. Just make them look more modern, more cool-looking. Like, as opposed to how they looked back then, which some of them just don't look all that right. They kind of look very low quality. You can be able to make them look cool. Look at that. Look at that extra effect on there. I want this for transmog so badly. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's a it's a 233 weapon that he drops. So of course I'd want to be able to use it, but still, I'm just saying. That's something I have my eye on if I plan on being able to farm that raid for things when it comes to transmog and weapons and such for Frost. I've said it before and I'll say it again. It's an amazing feeling to be able to line them up like that and then be able to see them all melt because of my Frostworm. Okay. Obliterate does 15% more damage. Frost Strike deals 75% additional damage. Yeah.
Ready to strike! All will know my name!
Alright, can't go that way. What the? Hey! No! 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 Ooh. More strength with Fleshcraft. So there's... Okay, Kevin's Oozling. So this is something else I'm testing out. I know that many people are recommending that if you're going to play Frost, that the recommended soulbind for, is going to be probably Emily or Hyremere. The thing is, I've already been using Hyremere for blood, so I have all my blood conduits set up, and I've been using Emily for unholy, and I have all my unholy stuff set up. So I'm hoping that Merilith, I actually did take a look, and at one point I actually saw during one of the things I was checking out on a site like Blood Mallet, for example, it actually was showing that Merilith was actually not a bad soulbind choice. Now the thing is, at this point, because I just, this week the new Renown unlocked the final piece here for his tree here. So I'm able to have 3 potency conduits set up here. So I can be able to have Everfrost, Unleash Frenzy, and Accelerate Cold. I actually should go ahead and probably switch to this one. This is nice to get extra runic power, but being able to heal every time I take damage every 10 seconds is not bad, so I might switch over to this. But I'm able to have 3 of Frost potency conduits, which is really nice. But then there's this new one here down here that was just unlocked this week, which I want to test out. Kevin's Oozling, which is that whenever I use Abomination Limb, Kevin's Oozling will fight alongside you for 40 seconds. His attacks will cause enemies to take 6% additional damage from you, and he periodically grants your allies an Absorb Shield that absorbs 204 damage, which is obviously very small, but still. It's like, okay, so I get this little extra minion to fight for me for 40 seconds, which not only does a bit of extra damage, but he also provides a bit of shielding to me and allies. Okay, sure. See, I think they just need to make some of Merilith's stuff just better.
Get over here! You have a chance to summon a coagulated blood to assist you in battle when you receive damage. When they die or expire, you are healed for 50% of your maximum health. A maximum of 4 can be active at once. Dealing damage has a chance to spawn a sanguine global nearby. Collecting the global grants you increased leech and primary stat for 10 seconds. I'll go ahead and get these guys here. Okay, the end of the floor. Man, I haven't done a solo run of Torghast in so long. I've just been joining groups to do, like, Layer 10s. Only Layer 10s, because I haven't unlocked Layer 11 yet. Notice all the procs I'm getting? Love it. Love it, love it, love it. Alright, dealing damage with Death and Decay. Increased damage you deal to the target by 2% stacking. Grows an extra A bomb limb and allows your bomb limb to grab enemies from up to 40 yards away. Yes! Just make it better. Oh, and she is now a new champion for my table. Lovely.
May your enemy shatter.
Okay. Now, unlike other people, I still enjoy Torghast. I don't, you know, like some people just these days are talking about how horrible it is and how bad it is, that it's worse. I don't quite agree. For one thing, they made it shorter, and I know that there's this whole thing of, well, what they did is they added this kind of, you know, speedrun type of system, which, yeah, I'm not too much of a fan of that, considering that now I have to focus on trying to get a certain star rating in order to be able to unlock the next floor, which is something I'm not really fond of. So I will go ahead and acknowledge that. But do I think it's like the worst thing ever and such like some people are asking? No, don't think so. Gosh, I haven't had to loot enemies in Torghast for a while. Okay, Painsmith, you are having way too much fun with these extra traps now. These were not here before. What are you doing? I don't like traps like that. Kyrian. I've heard that one of the reasons that you can be able to get a lot of procs is if your critical strike is really high. If you're curious, at the moment, my critical strike is pretty high. It's 31%, 930 of critical strike, 209 haste, 343 versatility, and 675 mastery. So I've been trying to build a lot of my mastery, and it says I have 54% is my mastery. I also have a little bit of leech and avoidance. But I seem to have more numerically critical strike, even though it's not the higher percentage. It's kind of weird in that regard. So, anyways,
you stand before the Ascended.
All right. Yes, I will free you and help take him down.
Thank you, Mawwalker. A relic of great importance to me lies somewhere within the tower. I must find it.
You are hunted.
Bone husk. Bone husk. I love this one. I can be able to get all the rune enchantments on my weapon. Love it.
It's too far. Have a target.
So look at this. I now have Fallen Crusader, Rune of Sanguination, Rune of Spell Warding, Rune of Apocalypse, and Rune of Hysteria. I don't even have to have them on my weapon because I can now be able to just have them here because of this really cool anima power and Stone Skin Gargoyle and Rune of Razor Ice, regardless if it's actually my weapon or not. Let's just go with increased haste. Hello? I'd like to think that I'm doing some pretty nice damage with the way this build is, but at the same time I gotta remind myself this is a story level of Torghast. It's obviously not as strong as if I was doing a layer 10 of Torghast. So I gotta remind myself about that. It would be nice, though. Okay. Yeah, extra self-heal. That's nice. Floor 3. So this is the free level. Oh, that's right. Derp.
May I tempt you with my wares?
Alright, he has no cosmetics. Okay, I'll go ahead and grab these two. Okay.
Till our next transaction. All goods and services for sale.
There we go.
Your patronage is always appreciated.
Ooh. Well, hello. I just realized I don't think I finished helping that Kyrian I encountered. Or found what she was looking for. Oh well. Okay, that was pretty fast. A forgotten victim, the betrayed father, the Grand Magister, the Guardian of Noxramas. The Blood Queen? The Archmagus Mentor? The Golden King? The Holy Lifebringer? The Champion of Peace? Oh, these have to be references to Warcraft 3. They have to be. Or maybe not just Warcraft 3, but I guarantee you some of these have to be. Some of these, at least. The First Paladin. Once trapped by Frostmourne, now free. Okay, so it's only 3 floors. Yeah, I gotta come back here later. Like I said, I want to upgrade this legendary. But even at rank 2, this doesn't feel bad. Obviously, I can't truly test it out until I get into, like, a raid or dungeon setting. Heck, I may hop into LFR Sanctum and test out this build in LFR. Just to see how it feels against the bosses before I actually try and use it for our normal run. By the way, ignore the Kyrian assault that's happening here. I may come back and do this later, but yeah, it's just right here, so... Okay, so I have to go up there. Gotcha. By the way, it's also Burning Crusade Time Walking Week. Huh. No. In fact, hold on a second. Yep, if you do Time Walking Black Temple, you could get some 226 gear pieces. You absolutely could do that.
The Arbiter sees all truths.
And of course, there is the weekly quest of doing 5 of the Time Walking dungeons, and you can get the 226 piece. What I also probably need to do, because this is also the first week of August, which means, as you guys probably know if you are familiar with how this game works with its calendar, the first week of every new month is the week that the Dark Moon Fair comes up, which means there's a number of things like the carousel, the roller coaster, things like that you can get the Wii bonus, which helps give you XP buffs. You can also pick up reputation buffs, and considering that there's now Time Walking Dungeons and such, this is a pretty good week to get some other alts and such up to 60 if you want, since now you have extra dungeons that you can be able to use to not only level but also get gear. Plus, you can be able to get an XP buff, so you're getting even more XP as you're leveling through those dungeons and such. So I'm probably going to try and take advantage of this by getting, because my shaman I believe is at level 56, so I'm going to probably try and get him to level 60, taking advantage of this while I can. There could be 1 or 2 other characters I try and do the same thing with, like I wouldn't mind getting my mage up to level 60, maybe possibly my warlock, but as long as... The thing is, I've also been seeing some really good demonology warlocks, which makes me kind of hopeful, because as you guys probably have heard me say before, like, demonology has usually been, like, the idea of it has always been kind of my favorite when it comes to the specs for warlocks. I'm fine playing any of the 3, but, like, I've always wanted demo to, like, be good, not just kind of a guilty pleasure spec, you know, like for some people, but just, like, it would be like considered like the go-to recommended spec, because usually demonology was considered the weird spec, like it was like, no one plays that, that's, you know, that's not, it's never been considered like viable, like the go-to spec or anything like that. I think maybe the only time that was the case was probably back in Wrath of the Lich King, like because you could turn yourself into like a demon or something like that, but... So forget about that little silly little mini game to get up here. I'm just gonna fly up here. Yay!
Without a paragon of loyalty, we cannot forge a new sigil.
Many forsworn yet occupy the temple. How are we to proceed?
Through compromise and understanding, I may be of aid in that regard.
Venios? Adrestes? Pelagos? Clea? Uther?
Was it all for naught?
This pain, deep in my soul, I am ready for it to end.
Justice, vengeance, align.
Come forth and be heard.
I believe this soul fragment may be the key to Uther's recovery.
A road of sorrows is paved with attachments.
By the Archon's grace.
The arrival of Uther's wounded soul was the impetus for many events that led us to our current struggles. Devos' broken trust, her involvement with Helia, the rise of the Forsworn. Bastion needs to change, but we struggle to find a solution. Perhaps this soul fragment will provide valuable insight.
Now, what's interesting is I was always under the impression that what was fragmented, the part that was separated from Uther, was the part of his soul that we encountered at Uther's tomb back in Legion. If you don't know what I'm talking about, look up, in fact, you can, here on my channel, I made, I believe, 2 separate videos showing this. So I think I showed it twice, but there are 2 separate videos I made of the Retribution Paladin quest to obtain the Ashbringer. Maxwell Tyrosus takes us to Uther's tomb, believing that Uther's soul could help us find out where the Ashbringer is. So we communicate and talk with Uther's soul there at Uther's tomb, and he tells us that the Ashbringer is back on the Broken Shore, and so is Tyrion Fordring. And then he leaves. And I always thought that was the part of his soul that was fragmented from this part, because remember, we also talked to that part of Uther's soul that was in Frostmourne back in Wrath of the Lich King, in the Halls of the Reflection dungeon. So I thought that the shard, the part that was separated from this Uther right over here, was the part that we talked to both in Wrath and in Legion. But apparently I'm wrong. Maybe this is yet another retcon. I don't know.
Go in
If
service.
my soul can be mended, then so too can the rift with the Forsworn.
Be warned, Uther. We have never attempted anything of this nature before.
I will endure whatever I must to be whole again. I cannot.
The shard! It is too much! He is being overwhelmed!
We must help him. Friends, aid me!
Uther, hold strong. Allow your memories to flow through you. I sought answers and found only anger.
Nope. I guess I have to turn it in first. But yeah, you can very clearly see the image there of Uther.
I am ready to aid you.
Though Uther's soul is suffering, we must not lose hope. It is as I feared. This fragment of Uther's soul was darkened by the Mournblade that slew him. His memories are shattered and twisted. For Uther to move past his pain, to move past his grief, he must experience his past once again. But he does not have to do this alone. Using my soul mirror, we can aid Uther in walking through these memories. He can then come to terms with the emotions they contain. We must help him see past the distortions and understand the truths that they hold. Ooh, are we going to get to go through a walk down memory lane for stuff involving Uther from the past? Oh, I'm ready for this.
Duty
We will not
is
let
its
you
own
fall,
kind
Uther.
of wisdom.
Stratholme!
This is Alonsus Chapel in Stratholme. The day I became the first of the Paladins.
Come, Uther. Take your spot so that we may begin.
It's Alonsus Fowl! Oh my gosh, this is awesome. I didn't know about this. This is really cool. First off, look at this. We get to play... I think this is very clearly an updated model for Uther's, model, but this is very reminiscent of how he was in Warcraft 3 with, this armor and such, and of course that hammer. So he has Crusader's Strike, Holy Radiance, okay, Divine Storm, and Divine Steed. Of course he has Divine Storm, because that was one of his ults in Heroes of the Storm. I'm just saying, I was a former Uther main. Like, back in the beta of Heroes of the Storm, Uther was one of my mains. And then they changed him, and he was just never the same. Anyways. Of course, he runs like a human. So look who's here. Gavin Rad the Dire. Tyrion Fordring, a young black-haired Tyrion Fordring. Turalian. Look at Turalian. Look how young Turalian looks. Satan Dothrahan. And, of course, Archbishop Alonsus Fowl, the priest. This is awesome. This is when he became the first paladin. This is this is really cool.
In the light we gather. In its grace, our brother will be born anew. Uther, do you vow to uphold the tenets of the Holy Light?
I do.
What are these tenets?
The three virtues. Respect, tenacity, and then...
And then...
compassion. Seeing beyond our differences. Understanding our similarities. Feeling for those who suffer. Even if... Oh, Arthas.
Wait. What is that? In the corner.
Oh, I know what that is. By the way, I can tell that is still Gideon Emery voicing Alonsus Fowl, which is pretty great. And of course, Michael McConaughey is still voicing Uther. But we know what this grain is. Remember, we are, yeah.
This entire city must be purged.
How can you even consider that?
His memories are twisting together. We must help him.
No, Clea. He must face this on his own.
Damn it, Uther. As your future king, I order you to purge this city.
Hey, Arthas.
Not my king yet, boy. Nor would I obey that command even if you were.
Then I must consider this an act of treason.
Treason? Have you lost your mind, Arthas?
Oh, that's it? 3 of Arthas' followers slain, 6 plagued grain destroyed. Yeah, pretty sure this is not what happened, but whatever. Look, we get to play as Uther for a bit. I'm not complaining. Holy smite on that grain! Press the wrong button there, sorry. Silverhand Betrayer. Yeah, I'm pretty sure his memories are, not giving this a very accurate depiction, but then again, this is probably how he saw some of this going down. So I don't really blame him for, thinking and feeling this way. See, you notice what's going on here is that it's not showing the people of not Lordaeron, the people of Stratholme turning into ghouls and such, which is what was actually happening. It's showing as if they're just here just murdering people who are completely fine, which is not what was actually happening.
These memories, they are not one and the same.
Yep.
Do you vow to walk in the light and spread its wisdom?
Your grief and regret haunt you still, as does Arthas.
Do you vow to vanquish evil and protect the weak and innocent?
I do.
Arise, Uther, as a paladin of Lordaeron, first of the Order of the Silver Hand.
Alright. That segment was awesome.
I am the Archon's will.
His memories are twisted and convoluted. I am sorry, Uther, but we must continue.
Stay true to
Uther's memories of this Prince Arthas haunt him deeply. He is the reason Uther's soul was fragmented, why Devos fell the way she did. The pain in these memories is palpable. We have to dig deeper. Uther must face the source of this darkness. Once again, you need to enter his past to protect his future.
proceed
We
with
are
courage.
here for you, Uther. Do not despair.
The light. Arthas.
I have many lucky
What
dues to
have
you,
I
love.
done?
Let's see which one this is.
Feeling nervous, Arthas? This is the day Arthas became a paladin. I remember it well.
Honestly, yes. I see your devotion to the light and feel doubt cloud my heart. You taught me so much, Uther, but I sometimes wonder if I'm truly meant to walk this path.
Great expectations await you, lad. I have faith that you will exceed them all. But for now, let's spar. That should clear your mind.
It always does.
No. I should have listened to him. Why didn't I listen?
You sought to comfort a troubled student. None can fault you for such an act.
Tell that to all of the innocents he slaughtered. I set him on that path!
You guided him on the path of justice. He is the one who strayed from it.
May the light forgive me. No.
There's Gavinrad. Andor Hall, Stratholme. Again, I still defend Arthas's decision at Stratholme because he was in a no-win scenario. There was no, answered that everyone was going to be saved and fine. I've gone over this numerous times. Talking about how they didn't have the time to actually seek out a cure, that Arthas had already seen in Andor Hall that the plague worked very fast to turn people into ghouls. Like, it was very clear and laid out that there was just... It was either, okay, we spare these people from a fate worse than death, becoming ghouls and zombies and slaves to the, the Dreadlords, like Mal'Ganis. It was either we let them have this horrible fate of worse than death, being mindless ghouls and such, or we spare them that horrible fate and just kill them. There was, no other option. There was not enough time to find another option. The plague worked too fast. There was no time to find a cure. And stopping that there also, was an effort to try and contain the plague and prevent it from spreading out. Now, at the time, they didn't know that there was, that wasn't really going to work because, of course, we know how much the Scourge just spread out at that point. But still, why am I flagged for PvP? Why did that flag me for PvP? Why? Why did it do that?
How may I serve you?
The sting of betrayal haunts Uther deeply, but he can persevere. He must.
Deep breaths.
My memories still haunt me, hero.
Please, Nixuzad, I am not finished. There is one more memory that I must see. One more that must be faced. It will not be easy. I will need support from all of you, but it must be done.
Thank you for showing me mercy.
Does it still hurt?
It does. Perhaps it always will.
I think I know which one this is. Yep. Scourge forces slain and scared citizen rescued.
This is the moment of your death, isn't it?
He came for the urn. The one that held the ashes of the father he slew.
As I've also said, this was Death Knight Arthas that he faced, not the real Arthas. As I tried to explain, the way that Undead and the Death Knights worked, and this was something they even showed in WoW, was that Death Knights in the starting zone, the Death Knight starting zone in WoW, are undead that do not have their souls. Their souls have been removed by the Lich King.
In that moment, I failed him. I did not uphold the virtues. Compassion, least of all. My heart had never been so cold. I faced him, not as a mentor, or even a friend, but as a bitter foe.
Perhaps. But confronting this memory has taught you the value of compassion more than any scripture ever could. Take that lesson to heart, Uther. The past may be immutable, but the future has yet to be written.
I will. Arthas, if only I had tried to save you.
Even if you had tried, Uther, it wouldn't have worked. See, we know the story that was going on in Warcraft 3 at the time. There was nothing Uther could have done. His soul had been removed. It was in Frostmourne, and Death Knight Arthas was now his own separate being in control, running around in Arthas's body, pretending and claiming to be Arthas. And doing horrible things as Arthas, including Arthas's father. It's a horrible tragedy, but that is, the reality of what was going on. Is that Arthas didn't do that stuff on his own, because then that would just make him a horrible, irredeemable person, But when you then learn about how he had actually, had his soul removed, and what was part of, left of him was doing what he can to help, prevent the Lich King from going through with his full plan to destroy everything and all of us. But at this point in time, there was nothing that could have been done. Not to mention that, of course, Tichondrius was also kind of helping steer Death Knight Arthas in the right direction to help serve their plans. Including, of course, recovering Kel'Thuzad's remains, and then, of course, using the urn to get from Uther in order to transport them to Loss, in order to use the Sunwell to bring Kel'Thuzad back, so that he could help summon Archimonde. Even if, Uther had known and had tried, he wouldn't have been able to do anything about it, because more than likely Tichondrius would have just stepped in and been like, okay, enough of this, and he would have interfered with what was going on with Uther trying to save Arthas. And that doesn't even still account for the whole, Arthas not having his actual soul at the time, and basically who Uther faced here was not actually Arthas, but just somebody parading around in Arthas's body, claiming to be Arthas. Oh look, he's on Invincible. That's a nice touch. So yeah, there's Death Knight Arthas. And he's on Invincible. Very nice touch. Looks kind of like the old model. But I'm fine with that. At least for now. If they do decide to bring back Arthas in this expansion, because this doesn't really count. This is a memory thing. You guys know what everyone's kind of talking about when it comes to them bringing Arthas back. Like, we encounter him probably somewhere in Torghast to try and save him from his fate in Torghast, which he more than likely is still being, held captive and such in there. This is not really what people were expecting when it came to whether or not they would bring Arthas back. Not this thing, because this would be kind of a cheap cop-out if that was the case, if they actually were going to bring Arthas back. Like, oh, hey, he's in this memory that you get to do while playing as Uther. It's like, no. Everyone knows that if we're talking about Arthas coming back, the actual Arthas, in a way that would be like a continuation of what happened, not reliving a past memory. That's not the same thing.
Face me, Uther, and I'll make sure you die quickly.
Sorry about the weird frame rate drops I'm having right now, guys. Now, how did those guys get aggro to me from way over there? Oh, my goodness, my health. Why don't I have a heal? I'm a paladin. I should have a heal. Just saying. But then again, I am supposed to lose this fight.
I really hope there's a special place in hell waiting for you, Arthas. No! I spoke in anger.
We may never know, Uther. I intend to live forever.
By the way, in case you're curious, know that I very much doubt that is the original voice actor from Warcraft 3. That sounds very much like the guy they brought in for Wrath of the Lich King for when they did these things to help out, kind of recreate these things, especially for the Time Walking Strat home dungeon. By the way, look! Uther has his golden armor back. He's not, or, you know, I guess he's now a full Kyrian instead of a Forsworn now that he's got that armor, but... Anyways. But, yeah, if you're wondering, that very much sounds like they got the voice actor for Arthas from Wrath of the Lich King and Michael McConaughey, and they had them redo a lot of these lines. So they're not reusing the voice lines from Warcraft 3 like they did for Reforged. They are having them redo these lines. I could even tell with some of the lines that Uther was saying, because I was like, that's not how he said it in Warcraft 3. So they clearly had Michael McConaughey just re-record these lines for this segment of the game.
What troubles you?
He breaks from his thoughts, a renewed resolve in his eyes. I believe this experience was the missing piece for Uther, and for me as well.
Wisdom
Uther,
guide your
if
path.
these memories pain you so, you can be rid of them in time.
No. They serve as a reminder of lessons learned. Given the choice, I would never let them go.
If given the choice...
Adrastes, we must speak.
But yeah, interesting that's what caught Adrastes' attention there. He mentioned that the Kyrian need to change. They just don't know what solution there is. But what Uther said there may have given him an idea. And that's something that, you know, in the Noxramas campaign... Noxramas. Wow. Sorry, it's late, guys. It's like past 1 a.m. You can see on the top right there. But anyways, in the Maldraxxus campaign that we had earlier, remember when we came here with Alexandros Mograine? And he was saying, why was I sent to Maldraxxus? Why wasn't I brought here? And what we learned is that it was because his memories weren't a burden to him, they were a strength. Because he was seeing memories of his family, his wife, his kids, and he realized he could never get rid of the memories of his family because they help give him the strength and inspiration he needs. If he had been sent here, he would have had to get rid of the memories of them as some kind of burden. So he was sent to Maldraxxus instead. Now, in this situation, what Uther just said, Uther would have been probably sent to Maldraxxus, if that was the case, but that's not quite how it went. So, anyways.
You wish to be of service?
The path forward for the Kyrian is clear to me now. First, we will speak with Nicolon. I urge you to stay and listen. Afterward, we must return to Elysian Hold. There I will request an audience with the Archon, and I need you all by my side as I do so.
Okay. I want to be there anyways, so by all means.
Remain humble. I see that now, and I truly apologize. Uther has taught me much this day. Bastion must follow a new path.
Nicolon, please accompany us. We must find a way to reunify our people.
Actually, hold on. The anger, the animosity, we must put them aside. The Forsworn deserve to be listened to be respected, as do the Kyrian. Uther?
There is much for me to consider.
I stand now on the path to healing. My past has made me worthy of this afterlife. I will learn as much as I can from the lessons it teaches.
My fate has not yet been written.
Alright.
You have faced much.
Please take me to Elysian Hold.
We will not falter.
I'm a Necrolord, I'm not Kyrian, so I can't just go there. So now we'll get to see how the Archon is doing. Is the Archon actually completely fine? Or is she still like, oh gosh, this wound, oh, it still hurts, I mean, Uther's wound still hurts. He was stabbed by a Mournblade just like she was. So if his wound is still hurting, there's no excuse for the Archon. She better still have that wound, and it still better be bothering her. Like, oh man, this keeps hurting. I mean, like Uther just said, it probably will never go away. It will probably never stop hurting. Okay, I expect the same thing for the Archon. Don't mind me just having a little sip of water, considering how long this this part has gone. Hi, Kyrians, don't mind me.
You are seen.
I admit feeling a hesitation I have not felt in ages. I must push it aside to do what is best for the future of the Kyrian and the Shadowlands. Are you with me? Of course I'm ready.
We
all 5 paragons are needed for our Covenant sigil to be reforged. Upon this day, we shall name a new paragon of loyalty.
My Archon, loyalty bereft of compassion fractured the very heart of the Kyrian. Perhaps what we need is not loyalty, but devotion to our cause, to each other.
And to the souls we usher into the Shadowlands.
When Devos turned against us, I met her with spear in hand. There was truth in her words, but I did not listen. Let us learn from Uther's example. Henceforth, all Kyrian shall be offered a choice: to keep their memories, or to let them go.
Yes!
Adrestes, I anoint you paragon of devotion. And Clea, you shall serve as his hand.
Nice!
Forgive me, my Archon, but
Your devotion to our sacred charge has never faltered. None are more deserving of this honor than you.
Thank you, my Archon. We go in service.
Well, I can tell you for one thing that I am very, very personally happy about how that went. That's something I've been wanting for the Kyrian since we got here. I really did not like what was going on with the Kyrian. I love that that is now the direction they've gone. That's exactly what should have been going on here from the beginning. All Kyrians shall now be offered a choice to either keep their memories or to let them go, if that's what they want. If there are some that want to get rid of those memories because of how horrible of a burden they are, then that's their choice. But if there are those who want to keep their memories, to remember their loved ones and everything about their life that they loved, then that's their choice. That's exactly how it should have been. I love that that's how it's going. Also, yeah, Adresses and Clea have earned this. Especially Clea. Clea was one of the very first individuals who actually, met us, like greeted us when we got here. Yeah, we went to Oribos first, but when the first place they sent us to was Bastion, and who was there waiting for us? Clea. She's been with us for a long time, and yeah, and Adresses has also been very relevant, especially in the Kyrian campaign, which you can see if you head on over to my Kyrian Paladin playthrough. But yeah, these two have earned this. All the stuff that they've been doing to help us out, yeah, I'm very happy for these two.
Allow me to show you the way.
The future of the Kyrian is in each of our individual hands. With the new Temple of Devotion, we will work to form a new path. One where everybody has a voice in their own journeys.
Archon's
Poor Pelagos, though, just still doesn't get anything.
I sought answers, and found only anger.
I will devote all that I am to aid the Forsworn and Kyrian to find one true unity once more.
Also, yeah, what the heck? Archon, you're supposed to still be suffering from that wound, and you're like, oh, I'm fine. Bull. I call bull.
You have questions?
It is an honor, but we have only just begun. Our first order of business is to rededicate the Temple of Loyalty. Pelagos has volunteered to stay here and help prepare for the ceremony. I requested that Nicolon bring his companions to meet us at Steward's Rest to aid us in convincing some of the Forsworn of our new path. Meet us there, when you are able.
Not only must we reclaim the temple, but we must implore the remaining Forsworn to join our cause.
You shall have our support. I will gather my allies and meet you at Steward's Rest.
Alright, I'll meet you guys there. All the way over there. It's okay, I can actually fly there now. Gosh, I've been wanting to have flying so I can fly over these zones and see how beautiful they are for quite some time. And now I'm finally able to do it, and it's wonderful. So, other than the Archon apparently being completely fine from her wound, this was a nice chapter here. We got to have a nice stroll down memory lane with Uther and relive some of the stuff involving Arthas, which, no surprise, And we got to see the Kyrian finally decide to make some changes to how they do things here. I knew some people that were very against the Kyrian because of the whole, being forced to get rid of your memories and such. Well, I'll look to see if this changes how they feel about the Kyrian now.
Kyrian, standing side by side.
This is only the beginning, Clea. A bright future awaits us all.
So, should I now refer to you as Paragon Adrestes? Just saying, pal.
Do you need a task?
Let us begin. The 5 temples of Bastion have stood strong since its very creation. The idea of rededicating one has never been broached before, and will no doubt require a significant amount of anima. Underneath this temple are stores of anima we rationed for the drought. Now that anima is returning, we can use these reserves for our purposes. You will need to use channelers and collectors throughout the grounds to redirect anima to the top. That should give me the power I need.
We all serve a greater good.
The Forsworn are lost. They are like ghosts haunting the Temple of Loyalty. Nowhere else to go. Leaderless, purposeless, abandoned. We must show them that there is a path forward. Let me accompany you into the temple. Allow me to talk to them, speak to their sensibilities. Perhaps we can convince them to give Adrestes' new path a chance.
The future of Bastion is in our hands.
Mechanicos has explained much about Forsworn Centurions to me. I cannot say that I understood all of it, but it seems that he has not yet found a fallible way to return them to their proper operating standards. Their anima can still be useful, though. And Adrestes has focused on how to rededicate the temple, but not on his own safety. I worry the process will drain much of his anima. If you can reclaim cores from the Forsworn Centurions, we can use them as anima stores for Adrestes.
Being an Ascended, join us at the Vesper when you are ready. Good luck, friends.
Nicolon, I apologize for leading you off the path. Had I not, you might never have joined the Forsworn.
My faith in the Archon had already faltered.
Nevertheless, you've suffered greatly because of my actions. I will not allow that to happen again.
I just realized this was the guy that we saw Uther talking to when we were questing back in Bastion, like way when this expansion started, and we first saw our first glimpse of Uther. This was the guy that was Uther was talking to and converted him to a Forsworn. I just realized that.
Will they sing my song?
Challenge you!
Shadowlands are doomed.
Shall go no further.
They sing my song. I wasn't ready.
Misguided.
Okay. Let's see if I can try these out over here. Aha! Okay. There's the temple over there. Channeling anima right there. Ooh. Didn't want to go there yet. And one down here.
There is nothing for me to consider.
Alright. Whoa. Ah!
I wanted to fly.
Nope. I can fly, not you. Let's, I feel like that should probably be done last, so let's try and go back to trying to convince more Forsworn to join us. Join us!
The Archon betrays you.
Ah. Whoops. Okay. This is a little silly. Alright, 8 of 10. Find a couple more willing to listen to reason. Alright, 9.
The Forsworn remain.
Good thing the world boss isn't here this week.
The Forsworn remain.
10. Up we go. Gong. We're summoning the Undertaker. Gong. It will take time and communication to repair the trust that has been lost, but there is hope again.
My weapon and my wings are yours.
Thank you. If Adresses falters, I now have the anima to pick him back up.
Our purpose is to serve.
Alright, Adresses.
What troubles you?
It is heartening to see so much anima flowing again.
Remain humble.
Loyalty shall no longer be a demanded tenet of the path, but rather a virtue that is earned, a choice. We must show devotion to those who struggle, whether they are recently arrived souls or peers who need our aid. It will take all the anima at hand to rededicate this temple, and in so doing to ring in a new age for the Kyrian. I fear the Maw-Sworn may attempt to thwart our plans. Protect me during this ritual. We must see this through.
Stay true to our eternal charge.
Are you prepared to protect this sacred ritual? I'm ready.
Wisdom
Uther and I shall
guide your
aid
path.
Adrestes. The rest of you, stand strong.
My fellow Kyrian, I come to you with a message of compassion. Your plight has been heard, your suffering recognized. We ask not for your loyalty, but we offer a choice. None shall be forced to sacrifice their memories. Your decision will be respected by all Kyrian.
The Forsworn belong to Helya, to the Maw. No Kyrian shall take them from us.
Let us stand united once more, not out of loyalty, but devotion. A new path for Bastion begins. I am the Archon's will.
Devotion. It is born of compassion, of service, a worthy tenet indeed. This temple represents a new dawn for Bastion. The Temple of Devotion will stand as a place of fellowship. We will work with the Forsworn, as well as aspirants and Kyrian of all experience.
Proceed with courage.
I can't. Because they're players. They're players.
Your plight has been heard. Your suffering recognized.
Alright, hold on.
For your loyalty, but we offer a choice. None shall be forced to sacrifice their memories. Your decision will be respected by all Kyrian.
Okay. So as I was saying...
You wish to be of service?
as well as aspirants and Kyrian of all experience and backgrounds, to forge a future of which all can be proud. Let us return to Elysian Hold. I request that you join us for... Oh my gosh! This is such a problem! Oh my gosh, why would you do that? Why would you do this? Why would you set this up? Do you really not expect people to actually sit, do what I'm doing and actually read the quest text? I know there are people that don't do that. I'm not gonna, be that ignorant. But oh my gosh, doing this thing where it won't allow you to actually do that because...
a choice.
Oh my gosh. Okay. You know what I'm probably gonna do? I'm gonna hop on my mount to see if I can actually just do this while like flying and being away from this. There we go. This way I can actually do it regardless of the situation that's going on. There we go.
By all Kyrian.
I request that you join us for a momentous occasion, the ascension of a new paragon and the creation of a new sigil.
Find your purity.
Okay.
You are seen.
Well, that was frustrating. I had to hop on my flying mount and just hover there in order to actually, read the quest text for you guys. Yes, I know I could have probably just done this, but it doesn't have that same kind of fun storytelling thing that I can do where it's like we're actually conversing with the NPC, I like doing this kind of like reading the quest text for you guys and doing the voices and such. I enjoy it. It's one of my fun ways of enjoying the story of this, of this game and such. This is not just... Gosh, I'm gonna stop before I go on a rant of about my whole issue with people saying, acting that this is only a social platform and not an actual game, and just the way people talk about this, it just drives me nuts. It's like, okay, what do you, when you say you want an MMO, are you saying you don't want an actual video game because you think, oh, the video game gets in the way of, the MMO, which to me is only about the social interaction, nothing more. So, it's like the people who complained when Burning Crusade came out and were just like, oh, there's too much story in the game now. Oh, there's way too much story. It's like they don't want an actual video game here. They only want a platform for people to have social interactions, and that is it, and nothing more. It's like, what do you want? You just want this to be a social chat room instead of an actual video game? It just drives me nuts sometimes. I said I was going to stop myself, and I kind of ended up not doing that. Sorry.
State your purpose.
Allow me to escort you to the Spires of Ascension. As the new polemark of Bastion, it would be my honor.
Go in, sir.
Today, a new paragon is anointed, and for the first time since the dawn of our realm, a temple is rededicated to represent our devotion to one another. A new paragon, a new sigil, and a new path for all Kyrian. This ceremony shall be glorious indeed. And that will give us another 500 anima.
I will be watching you, mortal.
Well, we're at the top of the Spires of Ascension dungeon here. You can see all the different members of the Ascended, some of the other members that are, that if you play Kyrian, you'll see a number of these other NPCs that are here. Apollon, Artemide, Cynthia over here, or, Cynthia. Depends on how they choose to pronounce some of these things. There's Braun. Hippokos. I'm sure, there's Mechanicos. Yep. Adrestes. Kyrus. Xandria. Persephone. And, of course, Thenios. Of course, here's the Archon. There's Adrestes. And back here is Clea.
What is on your mind?
I never imagined that I would become so close to the pole mark. Now look at us. Look at him. It's an honor to watch my friend receive such an honor, and to work alongside him for eons to come.
Begin the ceremony.
Many ages have passed since a paragon was last anointed. Longer still, since we have christened a new temple. Today, we do both. Adrestes, step forward. Through trying times, you have embodied patience and compassion, virtues that will serve you well as paragon of devotion. Five temples, 5 paragons. Take your place among us, Adrestes, as we reforge our covenant's sigil. A symbol of our new path forward. One born of unity between Kyrian and Forsworn alike.
You see my character down there like, yeah, woo! He's just down there like, yeah, pumping his arms. I love it. Very nice. Nothing for Clea, though, but, oh, never mind. She has a new title. The Hand of Devotion. Congratulations, Clea.
Coming, and we must change.
Adrestes? Congratulations.
This honor is more than I could have hoped. There is a long road ahead, but with the help of my fellow Kyrian, all Kyrian, the Temple of Devotion will embody the future of our people. Let the true work begin. With a future of kinship and devotion secured for Bastion, a new sigil is born to represent our path forward. Please report all that you have done to the Primus. When he is ready, we will deliver the sigil to him. Let us hope that he can use it to thwart the Jailer's plan and save the Shadowlands.
Go in
Uther,
service.
Pardon my asking, but what fate befell Arthas in the end?
At the moment of his death, Devos and I claimed his soul and cast it into the maw.
Without the Arbiter's knowledge? So, he might yet have had a chance at redemption?
I will never know. It was not my choice to make. Devos led me down a dark path.
Now that I have seen the maw for myself, I cannot say that any soul deserves such torment. Perhaps some can never be forgiven, but you have shown me that they must be treated with compassion.
Interesting little bit of dialogue there, isn't it? It's certainly a conversation that many of the players have had over the years when it comes to discussing Arthas. It's been a very large discussion topic for many of us. And it's not just in Warcraft. It's goes through a lot of different, things like in fiction and even real life. Is whether or not some people deserve a chance at redemption. Any chance at all. We've had this discussion with Kerrigan in StarCraft, and we've had this discussion many times with Arthas. Primus?
The hour of battle is upon us.
Carestia was the first to be born aloft by wings of duty and service. That you have helped the Archon see a new path forward is a wondrous thing indeed, mortal.
Together we will claim Curestia was ever the most unwavering of us all. The Archon's willingness to embrace a new path demonstrates her devotion to the Kyrian. I have called upon the Covenants to bear their sigils here to Korthia. The key to our victory lies within them, and in you, Marwalker.
Thank you, Primus. So, there is one chapter left. I don't know why it says 7 of 9. There is one chapter left in this campaign. What lies ahead. And that won't be unlocked until I get to Renown 58, which we just now reached Renown 57, which means my next part of the Hyrmir Soulbind has been unlocked. Yay! So the very next piece of Renown I get will unlock that, which I am very certain that there is nothing that's going to be rewarding that, even with that. So I'm pretty sure we're going to be stuck at Renown 57 for the rest of the week. So I will have to wait until next week for the next piece of Renown to come out, which will be very easy because I can just simply do 2 world quests and get 1,000 ammo like that, and we'll be able to get that next piece of Renown to unlock that next piece of the campaign here, the final chapter. So there was, of course, no new wing for LFR to be open this week. That will be next week with a third wing, which will feature another familiar name, as I mentioned earlier in this video. So that was what do you guys think of my test run when it came to playing Frost here? So yeah, at times it seemed pretty strong. I love how it's like, oh, you look at this damage you did as Uther Lightbringer. Obviously not a very accurate test, so yeah, let's just go ahead and reset all that, shall we? But yeah, it's definitely something I'm looking forward, going to be looking into. I need to get into Torghast, go back to Torghast and do some runs so I can get some more Soul Ash, so I can continue to work on these legendaries. So, like I said, I'm probably going to give this a test run to see how it does. Maybe in LFR Sanctum, just to kind of get a feel for that before we do raid. Yeah, I will see you guys next week for the final chapter of the Chains of Domination campaign to see what it is they have in store. So, stay tuned.